And telemarketing at the time was obviously frowned upon like it is now. You know, it's like this annoying thing where you
Yeah.
call a lot of people, nobody wants to talk to you, you know, and they can completely cut you off. So, you know, the thing I was given was I was given a lead sheet. Like it was like, here are all these leads, call them. We were selling windows, siding, and roofing. The difference between me and everybody in that office was that I knew that I had to keep this job. I had no choice, right? And there was no one that was going to hire me without a, you know, without a piece of paper that said I was legal to work. These people didn't know either. It was just a funny way to like make the system work in my favor at the time. Randomly kind of made this happen. But long story short, I needed this job. And I didn't take it for granted. And while people made 20, 30 calls a day, I made 100. And that still didn't work. And I realized then I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm still going to look like a fool, you know, not getting the results I want. People were creating fake leads and stuff to look better. And I said, you know what? It's got to be, like, there's got to be a way to do this. And what I figured out was that perhaps I learned really early on supply and demand, right? So I said, well, we're selling roofs to people who probably don't need roofs. And they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on windows that they probably don't have to have. So it's hard to justify someone pay $500 a month for something I'll say be 100 on energy bills. And they were like, well, what if we don't have $15,000 to spend on windows, right? So I came to the conclusion that the only people that would really spend a lot of money are people that need roofs. So broken roofs, when you need a roof, you know, if your windows ain't working, there's security issues, so you'd probably get new windows. So I started looking up places because I was in Northern Virginia and there was bad weather in Northern Virginia often in terms of like snow that would damage roofs. There was hail damage often during those years. So I started looking up where the last few places were within a 100-mile radius that had been hit by hail damage. Then I started learning how insurance companies paid out for hail damage. So I figured instead of going after people that they were giving me, which wasn't translating, I was able to call a neighborhood and persuade 40 people to get estimates from us because they needed a roof and they weren't going to go pay for it. So I learned that the demand was there, and since they weren't going to pay for it, right, then it was going to make sense. So I came up with this weird script that was like, hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood working on your neighbor's house based on this hail damage. Would you let us come over and do yours too? You know, see yours and see what we can do. And most people, because they trusted their neighbor's judgment, and at the time marketing wasn't that big where you know that this is a strategy.
Right.
And I didn't know either. I just figured it worked, so I went with it. And that's pretty much what happened. You know, like it became successful. I became successful in that way, going from making like $12 an hour to making $2,500 a week in commissions instead. So
Kind of thinking outside of the box.
yeah, like looking for opportunity where it's not presented to you, right? Like creating opportunity instead of waiting for it to get thrown at you.